What's going on, people? This is Shy Harrison. Today is another edition of the Eat What You Kill show. And today we have hairstylist, mother, entrepreneur. I feel like you have some other titles as well.
I'm all.
We have Shanita of Humble here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Shy. Thank you.
No problem. So I wanted to have you up here because we did this probably about 2 or 3 years ago. Probably a little bit before COVID, and things have changed a lot.
Yes.
We both have kids now, which is kind of crazy.
It is.
Yeah, so
it is.
One of the things that I kind of definitely want to talk to you about today, because like I said, we try to make every show like very tangible, is how you've been able to kind of grow your business. I've always admired how you have everything together.
To the public. No, I mean, behind every entrepreneur is what the fuck.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
But for the people that don't know you, how would you describe who you are and what do you do?
Well, Humble Hair is what it is. It's who I am and what I do. I make sure that I highlight the client and make the client feel like they are the star of the show versus it being me.
Right.
And that's kind of what I built my business on, is just being consistent, showing up for them. Now, I might be a little bit late sometimes, but I mean, hey, I'm a mama now.
Right.
But it's just making sure that client has everything that they need, and I'm providing all of the services. And so I always have tried to provide wraparound service. I do a lot of weaves, and people love them. But I can't just do weaves. They have hair underneath. So I've always kind of stayed on the healthy hair care side and, along with my specialty, which is weaves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how has motherhood affected, the work that you do now?
Honestly, I have to get tighter, and that's what I've been working on.
What do you mean by that?
Tighter as far as the schedule. The first year was rough. She was sick a lot in daycare, so I would have to stay home. I would miss a lot of time from work. Yeah. So I couldn't be as structured.
And that was during COVID, right?
Yeah. That was, 2021 is when I had her. So kind of like when I came back to work at the end of 21, it was like everything was out of my control, really.
Yeah.
It was all her.
Right.
So now this year, she's a little older. I have the stability, things in place for her. So now it's like, all right, you can work 8 hours in a day. This is how much you need to bring home today. This is how much you need to bring home this week. You've got to do A, B, and C service on Monday, A and B on Tuesday, A through C on Thursday. It is very structured.
I see.
Because I have to get off at 5:30 to get that baby by 6.
Right.
So I'm more structured now. So
I didn't think that was impossible.
You gotta buckle down.
Okay. So what are some of the systems that you have in place now to kind of make sure that you're able to hit your money goals, but also to kind of make sure that your business is growing at the same time?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Because when the shutdown happened, I created a $1 planner, and I sold a financial planner to stylists for just $1 so that they could organize their books to take less people, for social distance reasons when we got back into the salon. Well, I kind of use that same model. I basically set my annual goal. Then I come in on the calendar and I say, okay, each month, this is how much I need to bring in. Exactly what I just kind of described to you. Right. And my services had to be niched down. That was my services had to be niched down, and my prices had to change. Okay. I'm taking less people. I'm working less, and I'm charging more. I have to, because it just doesn't work without it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been blessed that a lot of people like my work and like what I do, so I don't have to market so much. If I miss a couple weeks on social media,
you still got people.
But I'm still working. That's really why I'm missing it.
Right.
So I use that planner, and it's been developed. I'm going to actually come out with a workbook for stylists. It's going to be way more detailed. I kind of left it in 2020, but I picked it back up because it's a very helpful tool in my business.
Okay, so if you can, not to give away all your your IP, but what are some of the things that you have in there that you can use?
So for my e-commerce selling, I use Shopify. For scheduling, I use Acuity.
Okay.
Those are kind of the main two things that I use to operate. But then, I accept Shop Pay. I use all the different financial, Square and PayPal and all of those things.
Right.
But to run my day to day, it's going to be between Acuity and Shopify.
Okay.
Are my main two systems.
And pretty much everything that you do is scheduled out. There's nobody who could just walk in hey, I need it.
No, that's the problem. So myself and my other stylist who kind of grew up through my salon, she's booked too. So we can't really take the public. We're scheduled to, we're kind of booked out. So that's why it's time for us to do some
grow
other
a little
things.
bit. Gotcha. Okay. So I know you talked about, as far as doing hair, but you also had a planner. What are some of the ways outside of just doing hair that, you bring in money? So
I do retail hair extensions. I'm actually going to be coming out with another plan for that because I retail luxury hair extensions straight from India. A lot of people don't know, but over 90% of the hair in the world comes from India. China has the bulk of it because they buy it directly from India. That's how you get the different textures and the colors and the blondes, the pinks, the red. China does all that.
Gotcha.
But I have a straight direct source from India. It's raw hair and it's very expensive. So what I'm trying to do is kind of roll out a plan for stylists to get easier access for stylists to get their hands on that.
Okay. So kind of like wholesaling a little bit?
Kind of. Like group purchasing, things like that. So what I do now, though, is just retail it straight to the consumer. Some stylists buy it if they want, or they recommend their clients to me. And then I also, what else do I do? I feel like I'm missing outside of the hair. Right. The planner is coming.
Okay.
The workbook is coming. I don't sell it anymore because it's under construction. But mainly my e-commerce site, and I do offer events and off-day. It's still hair related, I'm still doing hair, but I do offer off-day scheduling and event scheduling too, outside of the Monday through Friday.
What do you mean by event scheduling?
So weddings, things like that, which is always an upcharge because it is normally on an off day.
Right.
Or it's a day that I have to step away from the business, which means, you got to compensate. Plus
Right. But you've been known for doing a lot of weddings, right?
I have been, yes. I haven't done a lot lately. And that's honestly fine because I don't have the time.
Right.
But yes, I am still available to the wedding crew, people out there.
So so to kind of piggyback off that, for the stylists that want to kind of get into weddings, what are some things that they should know, some tangible things?
Well, that actually brings me back to your other question. Another system I use is Honeybook. Honeybook, it handles all of my wedding contracts. So you really want to be, if you're going to start dealing with brides, you have to be very upfront communicating. You have to be organized. These are people that are dishing out lots of money to different people. And so they don't want to be, with a janky stylist.
Right.
So you've got to not only have the right skills, because a lot of talented people can do hair. That's not the problem. The problem is the organization. So you want to use Honeybook for your contracts to keep all of your communications with your client organized.
So if you ever got to go back and say hey, I said this on June 28th.
But you had seen that in that paperwork.
Right.
I sent.
Right.
So it just makes it easier.
Okay. All right. So another thing that I kind of just want to talk about, I feel like over the last couple of months, your Instagram page has kind of exploded.
It did.
So let's talk about that for a second. So what are some of the things that you actually did to make it start to kind of grow like that?
Honestly, I had been sitting at about 8,000 followers for the past 4-5 years. I don't know. It just was sitting. It was plateau. This is where it is. But I had a post that went viral. I think that post got over 1 million views. And I think maybe 100 and something thousand likes. And then that's how the audience shot up in a week. It went from 8 to 20. And I think now it's at 23. Right. Something like that. Yeah. And so I'm trying to keep up that pace, y'all. I'm working on it. But I got the baby. At 6 o'clock, it's mommy time. 8 to 5, it is hair time. So somewhere in between there, I'm trying to post and let y'all know I'm still here.
Yeah. Okay. So there wasn't nothing. So
nothing special. that I did.
So what about that post made it go crazy?
So it is a trending type of extensions. It's the microlink extensions. And it's basically just no braids, which people love the versatility of that. It's just in your hair. I can't really explain, my technique for free. No, I'm just playing. It's
so
a
you were
technique
telling
that people know.
So you were showing your technique in the video?
Yeah, I just showed my technique of I flipped the girl's hair up, and you could see that it was just like a thin layer of extensions just in the middle of her hair, no braids or anything. And I did a what's called a move up. So her hair had grown out a little bit from when we first did it, and I showed how to move it up, and I flipped it up and down. And the video was probably the shortest because I don't know why I always have to do beginning, middle, end, and not do like the little pieces and let it be.
Right.
And that's really what went viral.
Really?
That little piece.
How long was the video?
It couldn't have been more than 30 seconds. I know it wasn't more than 30. It probably was 15 seconds. It was very quick.
Okay.
So maybe that's what I need to do for the rest.
Why did you go ahead and do that?
I don't know. I just, because I'm OCD sometimes about what I put out there. So it's like, I need people to know I can do it all. But they really just want to see that one
piece that
highlight and keep it moving with their day, the attention span.
Okay.
I got to keep that in mind.
True. Very true. Okay, so before we wrap up this short conversation, I like to kind of end off each one of these with a segment I call Skip the Line. So it's for, when you was in like elementary, middle school, you used to be at the end of the line and one of your friends like, hey, come up here. Like, you ain't got to stand in the line.
Yeah.
And with that, you kind of, didn't have to waste so much time being in line.
Right.
So with that being said, if you had to give advice to your, or the version of yourself from 10 years ago, who was, probably just starting doing hair, or I believe you was probably doing something else.
Yeah, I was a social worker.
Yeah.
I had already started doing hair by then, but it was on the side.
Okay. So for the version of you now, what advice would you give to that version who was a social worker but doing hair on the side to kind of help them skip past some of the BS that you might have had to do, or to make a little bit more money, or whatever the case?
I would say honestly, don't worry about anybody else and what they're doing. Like that's a distraction. It may seem like other people are going farther, faster. It may seem like that, but that's their journey.
Right.
You can only pour into yourself to get to where you're going, because only what you have is for you. That's the only thing you're going to get. So if you're so busy concerned about what someone else is doing, you're getting left behind in your own journey.
So what you used to be worried about what other people had going on?
Very much. It intimidated me, especially when I quit my job. So I quit my job as a social worker probably about 8 or 9 years ago now. I think 9 years now. So it was, intimidating to see other stylists. Even though stylists did look up to me, I still had that. I wasn't secure. Even though I've been doing hair for a long time before, I had never done it as a solopreneur, like no other job.
Yeah.
So I was worried, just looking at other people teaching and looking at other people doing, celebrity hair and things. And I was doing my thing, but I still had I was afraid. So now I'm no longer afraid, and it might have taken me, but that's my journey. I have all of the experience that I have to build into what I'm doing right now.
And so you felt like that kind of held you back a little bit?
I do. In a way, because it was not needed to think about what anyone else is doing. Yeah. I could maybe have been here, maybe 5 years earlier if I had just buckled down and did what I need to do. But I was where I was when I was. And don't ask me no questions.
Right. Okay. All right, I feel you. So as we wrap this conversation up, what is next for you?
What is next for me? So Humble Hair needs to expand. So I'm looking at doing a solid mentorship program, something that's not really, that I haven't really seen done in this area. Yeah. And that is to have a group of experienced stylists, open floor salon plan. I know that everyone is going to suites, but I've done suites. I have And if you're new, you can't learn in a suite.
It's just you in there.
It's just you in there.
Yeah.
And so we need some experienced stylists, ones who are not afraid to show others what they do, and let them mentor off of them for a period of time. And we're going to get them nice and trained so they can be licensed, have their own full clientele, be out here, go out here in the world and be great.
Okay.
Great stylists. So mentorship coming when we get that bigger space.